Do you know your rising sign? Do you think you could be Aries rising? Well, a lot of people don't know their time of birth, and therefore they're not able to find out what their rising sign is. So I'm going to let you know some tips and clues to work out your sign, and I'm going to be looking at Aries rising. So key to the elements of a rising sign are it's the way you present to the world. It's your most natural reflex reactions and way of being. It's the way you make new starts, and it has a lot to say about the early phases of your life. So how are you going to work out if you're Aries rising? Well, do you really attack situations? Do you have a lot of energy to create momentum and impetus for your life? Because Aries rising are particularly brave, courageous, and love challenges. You're the sort of person who takes up the gauntlet. You love a dare. You love to take a punt on something. You love to throw your hat in the ring. If you're at a party and someone suggests doing something, you want to be the first to do it. There is a very competitive spirit about Aries rising. And so if you are the sort of person who is always eager to start new projects, find new directions in life, and make things happen, then it's likely you're Aries rising. Now, there is quite a combative, bossy side to Aries rising. You're good at standing up for yourself. And therefore, it's often likely that if you maybe came from a big family, you're the youngest with lots of older brothers or older siblings, you could be Aries rising. Because in that sort of environment, from the get-go, you kind of have to fight to be heard. You have to compete against your brothers and sisters for attention. And you have to know how to grab what you want because as opposed to being an only child or the first child, you are going to have your parents' attention from the get-go. So when you're an Aries rising, it's likely that the conditions of your early environment meant you had to stand up for yourself, you had to fight for what was yours, you had to know what you want and go after it, or you just weren't going to get it. And therefore, you carry that on through the whole of your life. Now, the rising sign is about how you make new starts, and Aries rising don't usually have a lot of problem. In fact, you thrive in a new situation. You enjoy it. You want to go and grab it. And therefore, you have a lot of get up and go. You generally project quite a lot of aggression, so you can be quite intimidating simply because you're forthright, say what you mean what you say, and you're a fairly straightforward person. Now, underneath all that, maybe you don't feel that confident, but this is the way that you react with life. This is the way you tackle new situations. And the ascendant is not necessarily about how you truly feel deep down or what your emotions are doing. It's more about how you feel you need to be. It's the face you put onto the world and how you need to be to deal with life in a proactive, positive way and make things happen. Another thing with Aries, Aries rising, they like to jump in at the deep end. And more literally, this often manifests in head wounds. So if you were the sort of child who was often banging your head or broke your teeth, you could be Aries rising because that's kind of the symbolism playing out of going in for everything head first. There's something very upright and also courageous about you. Aries rising tend to be good at sports and good at any activity that requires a lot of competitiveness. Now, what happens though, you do run out of steam. So you tend to be upfront at the beginning of a project, a new relationship, or a new start in life. You're full of enthusiasm, but you can quickly get bored. And therefore you don't always have a lot of staying power, or you often need to get one of your Taurus or fixed sign friends involved to help you work through the details because you can get a little bit irritable with details. So does that ring a bell? Does that sound like you? Because if it is, you could be Aries rising.